Hello, how is everyone? If you were just watching the cast strength stream, you know that we just finished up there. For those of you who are watching the replay, keep in mind that we will be streaming at 8 p.m. on Thursdays going forward, right after the cast strength boys get finished up. Brandon Knight, you're so impatient. You're so impatient. But oh, Floyd, yes, this is our second Rotgut stream of the week. We just had the all-day St. Patrick's Day stream, which was not as much of a crapshoot as I thought it might be. The first 4 hours were actually pretty coherent. So yeah, definitely could have been worse. We are just waiting for our Canadian friends to hop back on. So in the meantime, I will keep you entertained. Who is all in? Oh, a lot of folks from the who just popped over from Cast Strength. Eric Waite, who is clearly too good to be watching this show. Clearly of a higher caliber than the content we make. Of course, then again, I think all of you are. Ben Eves of My Whiskey Den, good to see you. My Whiskey Den, Patty is here. Whiskey Crusader Will, Arthur Lopez, our man down in Texas, headed to Denison right now, home of those wonderful ginger gentlemen. Brandon Knight, if I didn't say you already, you are here. Good to see you. And Sniper Mac, I have not seen you in a minute, man. Good to have you here, dude. So yeah. So at the end of the Cast Strength stream, we were talking about whiskeys that we really liked when we first had them. And then would they hold up now that we've had a bunch of other stuff? So I'm going to get some Buffalo Trace because obviously this is, I mean, the thing about Buffalo Trace here in Milwaukee, right, is it's cheap, much like anywhere else in the country. But distribution on this is terrible. You can't get this in Milwaukee. I was in Madison for completely other reasons, and so I hopped over and hit a liquor store while I was there. And they have this shit lining the shelves. Whereas here in Milwaukee, it's like we get calls every day begging us to get some Buffalo Trace in. Hey, there he is. There's the Bradman.
It's another live stream.
It is another live stream. Sniper says he had a baby this year. Oh, congratulations, Sniper. That's fantastic. Well, I totally understand you're not tuning in. That is totally understandable. Whiskey Straight Al, our man from over on the Emerald Isle, is coming in. So make sure you subscribe to him. He's been doing Edredauer reviews lately. So make sure you go check him out. Eric Waite is throwing down the leather, saying he's got the better beard. I used to have a bigger beard, man. I got to do job interviews these days. I had to trim the beard down.
I got to look all professional.
I know. I used to have that mop top and the full like Civil War general beard.
Nice.
I had to shave it all off, unfortunately. Hey, Patrick Fulmer's here too. Good to see you, Patty. Or no, you're Patrick. Otherwise, I'm going to get confused. You get to be Patrick. My Whiskey Den gets to be Patty. Otherwise, I'm going to mix you up.
There are a lot of Patricks, it seems.
There are a lot of Patricks in the chat. So yeah, I was just talking about the ridiculous unavailability and demand for Buffalo Trace here in Milwaukee. I don't know. Are there any like that for you guys in Canada? Like something that is very, very common somewhere else and maybe is a little too talked up just because it's so scarce?
Sort of. There's some of the actual like decent Canadian stuff that don't get any distribution anywhere is tricky because even within Canada, it just depends on where you are. They'll get distribution in like 1 or 2 provinces.
Mm.
And it could be like West Coast and East Coast, and then none in the middle, or it's all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a little bit like your Weller 12 or whatever, where like some places will just have shelves of it, and some places it's impossible to find. It's just a lot of hit or miss kind of situations.
Yeah, for sure. I think for us, it's not that well because we're a tertiary market compared to Chicago. Like we don't get a lot of stuff, period. But then the other problem is that a lot of the Buffalo Trace products that come to Milwaukee get bought up by on-premise sellers. So like bars and restaurants and stuff.
Sure.
Which is not a problem they have on the west side of the state. They've got a lot less bars and such. But yeah. Eric Waite says Rotgut and Cask Strength are 2 of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
If that's true, at least you can rest assured that we'll be really bad at causing an apocalypse. It's fine.
It's gonna be a really half-assed apocalypse, you guys.
It'll work out. It's okay.
It's like there's no plagues of locusts. It's plagues of gummy bears.
Sure.
It's like
sure.
Fucked it up. It's just like whatever. I can't be bothered, man.
Yeah.
Who would be the other 2 4 horsemen of the whiskey tube apocalypse, though?
Oh, geez.
Oh yeah, Benny has just asked the same thing. Yeah, who is the other 2? I don't know. You guys can chime in on this one because I would love to hear your opinions. Yeah. I feel like they can't be classy shows though. Like they gotta have some of our ridiculous.
It's true. It's a fine line.
Because,
like they can't be too classy, but also if I name them, they can't get pissed off.
Right.
It's a very it's a balance.
I was gonna say I whiskey, she wines. Just
sure, I can see that.
For the potty mouth.
I can see that.
Yes, Jason Busey, Sam from I whiskey, she wines. There we
absolutely.
go.
Hungover Sam would absolutely be the horseman of the whiskey apocalypse.
I want to. So like, you can be the horseman of professionalism. I'm the horseman of Rotgut. She's the horseman of obscenity.
I could see that.
Yeah. But yeah, Mose is in. Good to see you, my buddy. He's asking, what is up with BT? He was saying around him, I guess there were 10 cases on the floor, but this year 1 per person unless you order 3 cases. God damn, 3?
Wow.
Is there anyone out there who really, really loves Buffalo Trace that much that they really need 3 cases? I don't know. I think here's my thing I've noticed at our liquor store is, to a certain extent, and we get annoyed with people coming in and asking for Weller and Blanton's and Buffalo Trace, just because we get so many calls. But I get it. They're well-known brands. They are solid for what you get, and they're inexpensive. Mostly, sometimes, depending.
Right. I mean, if you could get them at retail, that's fine.
Exactly. That's fine. Jason Busey said, a couple people are saying Rex has to be the last of the 4 horsemen. Yeah.
Sure.
Horseman of Moochie.
He's just in it for the Patreon lenses. You know? I can see that working out.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, for the Buffalo Trace products, or Matsy is the horseman of hoarding. We can have 5 horsemen. I'm okay with that.
Well, I mean, the 5th one is always Jesus, right? So
there we go. So you can take your place.
Becomes problematic.
He can take your place, and you get to be the 5th guy. You get to be Whiskey Jesus.
I don't know about that.
Too bad. It's being foisted upon you.
Just like Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Jesus didn't get a choice in it either. He's like, Dad, I don't want to go down to Earth. I don't want to die for everyone's sins.
It's going off the rails real fast.
But yeah. I will say though, I feel like there's something of a dislike for taters amongst the internet whiskey community. But I don't know. I kind of appreciate them in a weird way, just because I feel like we were all taters once. We were all trying to hunt down some bottle that no one else cared about, or we were all really into the hype around a certain bottle. Like, I think there's an evolution of whiskey drinking. Like you get introduced to it, you drink a bunch of bad stuff, you start to find out there's good stuff, and you get really excited, sometimes not about the right things. And then, eventually you get to a point where it's like, it kind of evens out. But
hey guys.
Hey, how you doing, Dan?
It's a Dan.
I will be back momentarily. I've just got a few things to do.
Understandable. We know you got the little gremlins running around. Ben Eves, I love theology. For an atheist, I am way, way into Christian theology.
How much trouble do I want to get in? No, I'm not going to get myself in that much trouble. Never mind.
It's fantastically interesting stuff.
I really
do think
it absolutely is.
Yeah. Like, I really love, like, there's a whole study. The Catholic Church has a whole area of study called Christology, like trying to determine the true nature of Christ. That is fantastic to me, because it blends like philosophy and mythology into one thing. I mean, it's not my belief system, but it's super interesting.
It is. It absolutely is. Yeah, most of the atheists that I come across are much more familiar with theology than many of the believers that I come across. It's an interesting time.
Jason Busey is saying, Idaho Harper 15 was a unicorn for him until he found it. Then it got really bland. Yeah, that's always a problem, isn't it? Is it, Brad, do you have a bottle like that? Like something that was really important for you to get, but then when you found it, it was kind of like, nah.
Not really. Not really. Yeah. I generally go for things that I've tried somewhere and already know that I like. The first few bottles I got were definitely just sort of a shotgun of randomness because I had no idea what the hell I was doing. But yeah, I don't really have anything that I can think of like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't know if this is weird, and people can tell me in the chat. I tend to just take chances and just buy bottles because I'm like, hey, I haven't had that. Maybe that's just because I'm impetuous and I don't think too much about where I'm spending my money, but I have a tendency to do that.
I mean, I have definitely done that, but it's usually going to be like by a distillery that I'm fairly familiar with or whatever. Like I'll buy a random Ardbeg, assuming like, okay, well, I like all of the other Ardbeg that I've had. So I'm going to say it's probably going to be at least tolerable.
Right. No, that is true. That is definitely true. I think my go-to, well, my insurance policy is always, if I hate it, it goes on a Wednesday episode. So sure. I still got something.
You've got a built-in safety net for it being worth it.
Right. Exactly. Eric Waite has a BA in Biblical Studies and a what's a THD? Doctor of Theology, I assume, in theology. We're gonna have to talk, man. That's pretty cool. But yeah. Ben says he would say either Ardbeg Galileo or Dark Cove Committee would be his right now.
That's crazy. Dark Cove Committee is amazing.
I
would stab Ed right now for another bottle of Dark Cove Committee.
I would pierce.
I mean, not in a very important place, like maybe you're like an arm or something. Sure. But just saying.
Yeah.
And I would expect the same in return. Like,
right.
all fair. Right. It's fine.
That's the new price for the committee releases going forward. Is like you have to make a blood sacrifice.
Proof of blood sacrifice.
That
would be kind of amazing to have like a release that you could only get with proof of a cult-related blood sacrifice.
Right.
There's got to be some kind of legal problems with that, I assume.
I would imagine. I just picture like every liquor store has to install like a giant rough-hewn stone bowl with that Celtic A inscribed on the side. And if you want to buy, when you come in, you have to.
Oh, it's got like a sensor for human blood.
Yeah.
There's tests to see if blood is human instantly. So, I mean, that is technically possible.
Yeah.
Although I think that would be problematic, especially right now.
It definitely would.
That would be a problem.
Everyone,
but it would be the biggest news story ever.
Oh yeah.
I think the marketing would just pay for itself.
Oh, for sure. We're also now on a government watch list, so
I'm on a couple of those already.
Yeah, right. It's fine. Eric, I very well may take you up on that. That actually sounds like a ton of fun. But yeah, I think the only time I got to have Dark Cove was at your like semi-secret party.
Oh yeah.
Before the first. Are we calling that the first Bastards Ball, or are we just calling that the opening? I don't know.
I mean, it was the first Bastards Ball, even though they weren't really calling it that at the time, I don't think. But
yeah, I think my only regret with that was that I had like 5 other fantastic whiskeys before I got to the Dark Cove, so I don't think I was quite ready at the place where I was able to appreciate it.
Sure, it's always the problem with those kinds of events. There's just so much whiskey so fast, like. I mean, it's all right, I guess. Whatever. I'm like 8 whiskeys in. I assume it's tasty.
Who's 8 whiskeys in?
Everybody at massive whiskey gatherings, basically.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Once you get to that point.
Yeah.
And like, you can try and write it down. But I've looked at intoxicated written notes versus intoxicated written notes. They're pretty funny.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that was my problem at Distill America this year, was that we had a ton of like craft whiskey from people who are distributing here in Wisconsin. And then we went up to the after party in Steve's A room, and he had like 20 bottles. He had the full Glendronach line. He had Dargaelic and like George Remus Volstead Reserve and all this good stuff. And I was like, dude, I will have one of the old Glendronachs, and then I'm not going to drink anymore, because it would be ruined on me.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're just
That's okay.
You're just a man of integrity.
What are you sipping on, Dan?
10-year-old Octomore. I've been really craving it the past few days. It's so delicious, and I managed to avoid peat last stream. So.
Oh yeah. I didn't do anything peated either.
That's a rare thing for me.
I have not been avoiding peat, so I'm drinking the Game of Thrones Talisker right now.
Also, it feels like it may very well Aussie in a minute, so
Ooh.
If that happens, we'll be looking forward to it. They're talking about reptilian people in Washington D.C. in the chat.
Oh,
Sure.
I'm glad that's going off the rails as much as our Yay!
Hey, you morose
It's
motherfuckers!
Jeremy.
How are we?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
man?
How is everyone this absolutely fantastic day? Look at that. It's terrible.
Jesus. It's piss and rain up here.
Oh,
It's cold and gross and dark.
I
don't know what the hell is going on over there.
That's the best green screen job I've ever seen.
It's pretty good.
Are you at work right now, or are you off?
No. This is so through that dim and dark tunnel just down there. I work in there. So it is a very short walk to this absolutely terrible place to be.
Yeah, it looks like you work in a real
pain in the ass.
trash area there.
Yeah. So all through there is viable drinking spaces. I mean, entertainment areas. Also, there's a museum and like art gallery and crap up there too.
Who cares about that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
How is everyone?
We're doing okay.
Good.
Nice.
Doing all right.
Getting
Just
a little stirred
we're
right
talking about religion and nothing nothing too controversial.
Oh, good. I'd hate for Rotgut to go downhill.
I know, right? I know.
Sure.
We need to keep our professional standards high. Otherwise, this whole thing falls apart at the seams.
So by professional standards high, does that just mean contractually Erica has to show up 3 times a month?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Seems about right.
I was going to ask, and it's probably already been mentioned sometime previously. Where is Miss Erica Bunahaven?
Erica Bunahaven declared to me this week that she would shoot one video, and then because she's working from home, she does not intend to pretty herself up even for streams. So she said that is on your ass to.
What about
that's why Vito doesn't show up too.
Vito doesn't have his makeup kit with him.
I was going to say, is it too much effort to get pretty for Vito? I thought it was all right.
Jason Busey is asking, what did people think of the Game of Thrones Talisker?
I like it.
I like it quite a bit. It's pretty good. I think I probably enjoy the Dark Storm a little better, just because the Dark Storm is spikier to me. But
I tried a
nice.
very, very tiny taste of it, and it was quite nice.
Yeah,
Definitely signature Talisker notes.
Oh,
yeah. Is it age stated, that one, Brad?
I don't think so.
No.
I'm 9 years old.
That's not an age.
I thought it was 9.
That's the Laga.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just select reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't actually a fan, but in defense, when I had it, it was probably a heavily oxidized bottle. And I may have been 7 whiskeys deep at that point.
It does make it hard to judge sometimes.
I'm honest. I'll give it its credit where credit's due, but there was nothing that popped out when I had it. So
Fair.
Well, it's just it's that solid. It's salty. It's a little bit smoky. It's malty. It's Talisker, and it's good.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And I don't remember what the price point. I thought the price point around here was actually pretty reasonable compared to the rest of the Talisker line. I don't know about where you guys were. I think it was a little less than the other non-age statement.
Yeah, I don't remember. It didn't annoy me clearly if I don't remember what I paid for it. So I mean, it's probably fine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and all things considered, being in Canada and the hype that was behind all those releases, because again, it appeals to non-whiskey fans who are hardcore Game of Thrones fans. I know a few of them that just would never even open the bottle. They strictly bought it for their Game of Thrones shrine.
Right.
Speaking of not opening the bottle, Jason, you got to open that bottle and drink some, man.
Yeah, get her open, buddy, because you never know. Especially now more than ever, guy. You could
Right.
open the good whiskey and enjoy it, man.
I think so. I think that's
Absolutely.
the way to go with it. Whiskey Den is saying 45 to 50 for the Game of Thrones. Yeah, I think you're definitely right. And that's not bad. I mean, if you want to, I think it was about the same to, it's slightly more for the Storm? So, yeah.
I think the original intention of the Game of Thrones lineup was to try and get an interesting collaboration and then sort of get people to explore a lot of different regions that they otherwise may not in a fun way. And then unfortunately, because it was Game of Thrones, everyone went, "Oh, it's Game of Thrones. Let's jack up a thing up." So
Yeah.
I mean, down here in some areas, it was close to double the price of what you would expect a similar, the base spirit or the base for what that particular release was. So
Yeah. Sure.
So yeah, but I mean, we're in an end market, so it's always hard to predict anyway.
Yeah. Mac is headed out. Hey, have a good night. Stay rotten, buddy. Also, I do want to say hello to Still in Canada.
Hey, Mark.
Woo!
Hey,
Mark.
Mark. Good to see you, man. Hopefully we can still make a trip up there. I don't know how long this current crisis is going to go, so it may not be anytime soon, but I would love to come.
Well, coming up to visit Mark would definitely be an essential travel trip. So, I mean, I'm sure you could convince the border agent that it's absolutely essential that you get over to Silver Fox Distillery.
Yeah. Also, someone was talking about, who was it? Someone was saying, Floyd was saying, Religion and Whiskey, Dangerous Bedfellows. Can I steal that name for a channel? Because that would actually be an amazingly fun channel. Just talk about theology all day and drink whiskey. That would.
Okay, I need in on that as a guest at some point. I have thoughts.
Don't we already have a channel name for that called Dragons and Drams?
Oh yeah,
that's a pivot.
Yeah.
Now Eric in the chat was saying that he has a USA release and a UK release of Black. Is there actually a difference between the two releases? Because I know sometimes there's a different ABV, and I mean very slight different ABV, but predominantly it might just be a different size bottle. Is there an actual difference with the committee releases other than bottle size?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Speaking of, I don't know if you've cracked those, Eric. I know you've got a review of them coming out on April 1st to kick off your Isla month. So you don't have to give us the whole review, but if you have cracked one, let me know what you think, because we just did our review the other day, and we had mixed feelings. It wasn't bad. Definitely wasn't bad. Just maybe.
Didn't Scott and Bart also release their tasting video today?
Did they?
Today. I believe so. Yeah, it was in my subscription things this morning at like ridiculous o'clock.
Yeah.
I noticed that you didn't have a strong love for it, but it wasn't a dislike or anything. It was just a bit ambivalence.
Yeah. I would say that's a fair assessment. Yeah, I think it was good. I just didn't cream my pants over it. So
Fair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely still what I want to try, but I have been hearing basically that from a lot of people whose tastes are fairly similar to mine. So I imagine I won't necessarily be blown away. But it's Ardbeg. I have to try it.
Right, for sure. Ben Eves has to head out. Good to have you in, as always, my dude. Thank you for stopping by. Phone's about to die.
So Eric hasn't opened the Black yet, but he has opened the Galileo 99.
Oh. Well, that's fancy.
It is fancy. And Mark is starting a new hand sanitizer business, apparently. So
That was okay. That was something that pissed me off. And luckily, I don't think my boss watches this show, so I'm going to say it. well, not my main boss, the old owner, the guy who basically like he works like part-time basically, but he's the owner. He's kind of just there to get a paycheck. He like some lady came in and recently and was like, hey, do you sell Everclear? Or no, she was like, do you have 100% vodka? And I was like, do you mean Everclear? Like that's about as strong as you get. And she was like, yeah, I heard you can sanitize stuff with it. And I was like, sure, yeah, we have that. You know, isopropyl alcohol is probably better for that if you can find it. And my boss, like the owner, came to me and he was like, don't ever discourage a sale.
Oy.
And I'm like, what? Like, I'll sell her the Everclear. She can take the Everclear and desanitize whatever she wants. But like, we're gonna discourage people from buying actual like medical equipment just so we can sell some AirStats hand sanitizer.
So I always took the view, and especially when I was in, that's a fire alarm and a half going off, was that you know what, like, sacrifice the sale for the good rapport, because that person's more likely to come back to you for the advice because you were honest. And you quite happily gave advice that did yourself out of business, which means that you're more trustworthy down the line.
Right.
You lose a sale now, but then you gain, a potential return customer that's worth far more than making a quick buck.
Right. Yeah. But whatever. That's just. I mean, that's the point we're at around here, at least.
Yeah, businesses are weird. That's
yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
I'll wait on that, but good to see you, Mark.
I'm going to break out some. Oh, I got to do this one first. I'm going to break out some of this Aachen-Durham peated from this beautiful bottle I have here.
Ooh, that's quite a fancy little box there.
I know. This is the the Secret Spirits. They did that. What do you call it? The Advent calendar.
Yeah.
They had a Kickstarter where you could buy fifths of some of the whiskeys from that one, and I loved the Aachen-Durham peated.
Wow.
So I snapped this up, and they actually, like, I usually don't give two craps about the packaging, but they put in some work on this motherfucker.
They do. They seem like good, interesting people. It's a real shame that they're having serious legal troubles currently in the U.S.
I was going to say, yeah. Didn't they try and offload some extra stock in a less than legal fashion?
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Are they still in jail, or did they make bail? I don't remember. But
what?
Last.
Oh, yeah. They tried to. Was it Illinois? They were selling something. Anyway, okay. They were down in the States and they tried to offload some whiskey, and they didn't have a license in that particular state because they're Canadian, right? So it was a whole big legal thing. So they definitely had at least some minor jail time. I don't know if that's still going on or what.
I think
my whiskey den in the chat is staying still in jail. So
I had no idea about that.
Yeah, no, it was
so
he
put the cap back on the bottle. Put that one away, buddy, because you ain't getting it.
Yeah, that's a collector's item right there. That's
God,
and it was it wasn't an insignificant amount either. It was hundreds of bottles they were trying to offload.
Oh yeah. No, and it's because they happen to not have a license in that particular state, and it was, it's a big legal shenanigans.
Yeah. Well, now that you say that, see, I really love this whiskey, and I'm not going to stop loving this whiskey, no matter what.
Sure.
But
it's not the whiskey's fault. It's not the
whiskey's fault.
They did come to me with, like, the last time we were going to do an advent calendar, and we ended up doing something completely different anyway. But they were saying, like, hey, you could do our advent calendar, and you can include a link in your description, and you could get a couple bucks from if anyone buys our advent calendar.
I go, why doesn't Cask Strength get that? We've got like 2 times the sub and half the content.
Yeah, right.
It's because they watched a Rotgut video and they watched a Cask Strength video, and they were like, okay, no, it's we got to go.
And that's fine. I got no problem with people making a buck from, especially because I was going to be honest about the advent calendar anyway, and I'm going to tell people exactly what I think, and I'm going to tell them that if you buy from this link, you're gonna be supporting me. Like, I'm gonna be open about it. But then he said something like, oh yeah, well, for our influencers, they don't have to tell anybody that they're making the money. You can just put this link in your description.
Sketchy.
All right, so that there raises personally so many goddamn alarm bells, and then puts a lot of the reviews in doubt.
Right?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
If you had that link and you didn't tell folks that that's
Yep.
what it was, like if you did that thing and you put the link in there and you fucking straight up told motherfuckers right away, this is why you should click this link. But otherwise, if you didn't, that's a tricky moral
Yep.
area you just got yourself into.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's super sketchy.
Yep.
and for that reason and that reason alone, Ed, that's why we've taken so long getting that shirt to you.
Sure. That's definitely the reason.
Yeah.
Ask me next week what the reason is.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of shipping issues right now, so you know, it might be delayed a bit.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, super
I-
shady. Super shady.
Yeah, I can read the chat now that I'm not standing in the direct goddamn sunlight.
Yeah. It's a little weird. Yeah. No. For sure, man. For sure. We're still coming up, Mark. Don't worry. Don't worry, my man. We're definitely coming up. It's just might be a little bit later than we expected it to be.
It occurs to me that I was there and I didn't even pick up a shirt.
I know.
I'm such an idiot.
I got to get up there to get some apparel and some bottles because they are must have.
Grab a shirt for me and some bottles of whatever is going.
I will.
I definitely need some of that.
I will.
I couldn't legally buy a bottle or anything last time I was there, but I could have got a damn shirt.
But man, did we have so many unbelievable, tasty beverages.
Yes, we got to try many things that were unfortunately not legal to purchase and take home with me.
Eric, wait. I'm a big believer in culturally defined and transient morality. But if whatever morality you have, you need to apply it across all situations and time frames. So
You can't be a politician. Politicians, no bueno. Yeah.
That's it.
Also, Mark's saying he's got his vodka and the gins
Nice.
getting ready. So that's
Excellent.
exciting, man.
Yeah, they're just making some fantastic stuff, and a lot of moonshine, a lot of stuff. Unaged spirits up here are very kind of basic one note kind of ponies. There's a lot that make fantastic stuff, but I find a lot of the unaged spirits that I like that I've had isn't necessarily anything other than them being just nice and drinkable. Like they're not too many alcohol notes. It's not too sweet. Mark's products actually have some complexity in there. They dance on your tongue. There's some love in there. He's not just pumping it out to get some income going while he's waiting for stuff to age. He's actually putting a lot of care and love into the unaged stuff, and it's all fantastic. And he's also
he's only doing that for selfish reasons, man, because if he makes good shit, then he can drink good shit.
True.
That's right. If Mark was a bartender, I would probably be an alcoholic. He has a very good knack for mixing really tasty drinks, and that's certainly extrapolated into the whole distilling and everything that he's doing there. And getting 2 new barrels next week, awesome. That's fantastic stuff, Mark. Looking forward to it, buddy.
See, Mark, I have morality. It's just that I'm chaotic good.
Also, morality and ethics, there's overlap, but they are separate things.
I'm just chaotic.
Yeah, just chaotic neutral, just regular old.
I think I'm just like neutral. Like, well, whatever. It's fine.
That's what I was trying to figure out with Erica. Like, I was telling her, I
Oh
think
no, she's chaotic evil because her evil is on a whole other level. It makes it seem like she's nice.
see, but she's very law abiding because she doesn't want to go to jail. Like, so
She's very law abiding, so no one suspects her of the crimes that she has committed.
Well, lawful evil is a thing.
Yeah, lawful evil. I feel like lawful evil. I'd like to think she's secretly lawful good, but she disagrees with that. Yeah, she thinks lawful neutral at best. Floyd says chaotic good. Yes, there was a time where I believed I was lawful good, but I think that show has put the lie to this. So,
sure. I am definitely not. Neutral at best.
Is apathetic neutral a thing?
That's just
totally Brad.
True neutral, right? It's just complete apathy.
Yeah. Floyd says I'm chaotic evil. No. Oh. Maybe a little sometimes.
Definitely chaotic, but I wouldn't say you're evil.
Yeah.
I mean,
not yet.
I would.
It hasn't been profitable enough yet to be.
There you go.
So,
I mean,
there you go.
He's only not evil when stood next to Erica. Like if you put Ed next to the old man, Ed is evil.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I dig it.
Situationally evil.
Situationally evil.
Comparatively, situationally evil.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
and if you put Ed next to his mother, he is a good Irish boy.
Exactly.
There you go. Sure.
Oh my God, that is something Erica constantly tells me. I'll come to her and be like, I'll have an idea for the show, and I'm like, hey, we're gonna do this and that and the other thing, and then she's like, your mother watches this show.
So she just doesn't watch.
That seems like your mother's problem at that point.
I know, right?
She can just not watch it.
Just don't watch.
She doesn't watch the live streams though, does she?
I sure hope not.
Because I think I've gotten you in trouble if she has.
I know.
I still got to try and ask Dwyer's uncle to get a Alan Hawko signature for your ma.
I know. That would be fantastic.
It is something that can be done because they went to high school together.
That would be so cool.
It'll come along with the shirt whenever that happens.
Oh yeah, I forget to mention that they lived next door to each other. They didn't just go to school together.
Oh man, yeah, no, she would freak out. She loves that show so much.
It's a great show, man.
Yeah. Patty's saying her friends bring up the channel. There's a good chance of that. Yeah. All right.
I'm gonna love you guys and leave you.
Okay. Well, thank you. We appreciate you stopping by, dude.
Have fun working.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do. And just for all of those that don't have any, just have a little bit more sunshine. It's all good.
Yeah, it does look really beautiful there.
Glad there's no more fires or floods, mate.
Oh yeah, I was gonna
same.
At least it's not on fire anymore.
Yeah. All right. See you.
All right. Bye, dude.
Bye.
Are you guys still on the same stuff?
I am drinking Talisker Port Re currently.
I'm still on Octo 10.
How is that? I didn't actually get to try any when we had it around here.
It is spectacular. It might be my favorite Octomore.
It's up there for me too. Yeah, it is very good.
This is the second release, the 2016. It is 167 ppm.
Nice.
I can't remember. I don't think there's any cask info on the bottle or on the tube. It might be on the bottle.
Have you tried it with a couple of drops of water, Dave?
What do you think? I've
well, you should.
I refuse to put water in.
You should.
I
because
don't refuse to. I just never, ever, ever.
I
it's not
very
a
rarely
refusal.
do
I'm not
too.
against
I'm
it.
lazy.
Not against it.
But with Octomores, I always try because sometimes they balance it so well that just a couple of drops of water will just spike the peat so hard, and it's amazing.
Well, I'm gonna try it right now.
I do think for the 7.3, which is my personal favorite Octomore, maybe 8.3.
My second favorite, for sure.
8.3 is probably mine.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're all great. I haven't had an Octomore that I haven't loved.
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
But I think for the 7.3, when you put a couple drops of water in it, like, yeah, that water just
Comes in with a jug.
You can smell all the peat when it was at full strength because it was just too peaty. Once you put some water in it, then it actually smelled peaty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it like breaks the balance in a weird way that's suddenly like, oh, it really is seriously peaty. Okay.
Right.
There's almost a vanilla cola note right now.
Okay, I can see that.
So definitely, I think there's got to be considerably large amount of ex-bourbon. I'm getting a lot of ex-bourbon cask for sure. Here.
Patty is headed out, but thank you for tuning into both streams tonight, my dude.
Yeah, see you later, Patty.
Yeah, thanks, Patty. And have a good night, buddy. Stay safe, you and the fam.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Mark is doing butterscotch experiments with Ardbeg 10, which is interesting.
And Floyd was saying he's doing the Dewar's, the 8-year-old Caribbean rum. I haven't had that one.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, we've got it in the store right now. So we will be having that. We are going to have that on a episode coming up shortly because we're going to do the full Dewar's line as part of our bottom shelf bonanza. So that will be coming up. So I'll have to see what is going on there.
Nice.
Have you had the 21-year double?
Yeah, no, I have. Where is that? Yeah, I've had the 21. We also just got the 27 and the 32 in.
Oh, geez.
The store.
Yeah, I love the bottle. I gotta say, I do love the bottle.
Yeah, and I kind of dig that they did it in 375s because then you can get some more for. I mean, you can get it at a pretty reasonable price. I mean, it was already reasonably priced, but
sure.
Yeah. And actually, I'm going to pour a little bit of that because I have to say, I think I did not do this one a very good service when I first did a review of it.
And that's the 21?
Yeah, this is the 21.
Yeah, I put it this way. Having Dewar's is one of my favorite economy blends. I don't drink it very often. I haven't drank very much of it, but if it comes down to something, one of those really economy blends like that you can find at any dive bar, it would be my choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, and not that, this holds much bearing with someone like myself, but it was the #2 whiskey of the year, Whiskey Advocate magazine.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. And we also had, what was it, the Matsui? Because I have some of that floating around. That was Erica really loved that Matsui. I think that was like number 10 or 11. Yeah. I thought, because when I first did this, I was like, it's just a little too light. It's just kind of blended whiskey, blah, blah, blah. It's the usual thing I don't like about blended whiskey is that it's not light and chipper enough as grain whiskey is, but it's not dark and heavy enough as malt is. But I came back to this after having a couple others the other night, and I was like, I did not give this thing enough credit in my review. It's actually very, very nicely nutty, vanilla-y, little bit of fruitiness. I'm
gonna join you.
Damn it.
I'm gonna join you in some.
Damn. Now I feel left out.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you feel left out of bottles, they're like regular bottles that are in abundance and can be bought for fairly cheap. When I feel left out from stuff you're having, I got no other hope of trying to
Floyd is
Actually, I shouldn't say I have no hope because you pretty much all the like gnarliest stuff I have back here is from you.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, come on down. It's all here.
Eric is asking about if anyone's had the Doers Mezcal.
I have not.
Yeah,
no,
I definitely have not.
That would be super interesting, I bet, though.
Yeah, that's the second mezcal finish that I've heard about in a while, and I believe the first one was the Bareface. I think they just did we have a Canadian whiskey called Bareface, and they put out a series that is taking advantage of Canada's rule that allows you to have X amount of any kind of other spirit in with our whiskey, and you can still call it whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm not huge on, but it is what it is, and it could open a lot of doors for some tasty stuff. So
yeah,
sure.
But the Bareface apparently is really good. That mezcal finish, and I think that because I find Bareface quite sweet.
It's not the bending down, Mark. It's the getting back up afterwards. I'm just gonna stay on the floor if I bend down that far.
But yeah. So the Bareface was really good with the mezcal, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So I imagine the Doers, it might be interesting. Eric, have you had it or seen it or what? Because love to hear some notes on that one. It's really the barrel finish, unique barrel finish is really kind of exploding all over the place. Big distilleries, smaller distilleries are jumping on these, unique wine finishes or a mezcal finish and all the different rums. And I really like to see that because I'm one of those guys that really thinks that the cask is one of the more important factors.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're all important. They all work together. But for me, I'm a big cask finish guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Floyd is talking about the rum finish. He's saying it's interesting. I'm going to have to try. I've liked pretty much all the rum finishes I've tried so far. I can't think of one I've really hated.
Yeah, I've only had like a small handful, but so far I've enjoyed the rum finishes for the most part.
Yeah, because I know Fire and Cane, I will have that thing's babies.
Absolutely. Fire and Cane is great.
Yeah, that thing's amazing. Balvenie Caribbean Cask is very good. Even, what was it? This rye. The Basil Hayden's Caribbean Reserve rye. It's a totally different kind of like bittersweet molassesy rum. I feel like those other ones, they rely on the rum just to give it the sweetness. Like that's really what it is. It's the sweetness to counteract whatever dry stuff they have in there. Right. This one, the Basil Hayden's, I feel like the rum is just another form of like weird, bitter, freaky, funky to go along with the rye. It's not really there to offset the rye. It's there to kind of play along with it. Yeah. The Doers illegal. Was that before the SWA changed the rules? Was that the one that made it before they changed the rules? Because I remember, wasn't there somebody who like spit in the face of the NWA, SWA?
Now that would be an organization. A whiskey wrestling federation of some kind would be just amazing.
I was watching old Ric Flair matches last night, if you can't tell.
Woo! Hey,
woo!
Take a little sip of that Doers and tell me you don't get a bunch of raisins that have been pulled out of a butter tart.
Yeah.
Well, I get such a raisiny kind of baked raisin note.
See, it's
I don't know. Mine tastes a lot like Talisker 10. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
But for me, it's raisin, but it's also got this interesting like green pear kind of thing. like kind of a tart sweet that goes along with the pear, or that goes along with those raisins. Because there's the dried raisin, and then there's on the finish for me, there's this little bit of tart fruitiness.
Big time.
That kind of counteracts that.
Tart orchard fruit, almost even an apple skinny.
Yeah.
Yep, big time.
Which I like because after all, I am a fruity tart.
Sure.
Floydian. So you got a
nice
style and profile. Limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, son of a gun. Oh man. What?
Now I'm just picturing like a weird parody video of wrestling, but all of the wrestlers are whiskey based.
So
yeah,
a buddy of mine is
Not good.
part of a like a podcast crew. It's called like Stogie Mania. They're about cigars and wrestling. And they watch WrestleMania together every year, and they're into wrestling and that, and they do their own intro videos that they all play at this gathering. So they have to like dress up like a wrestler.
oh, that's
And
awesome.
oh my god,
Amazing.
dude, they're some of the funniest things you've ever seen in your life.
I bet.
I look forward to it every year. Bagnoli, if you're watching now, buddy, I get so much entertainment out of those.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's funny stuff.
There is actually a wrestler who I can't remember his name right now. Hold on one second, because I'm gonna find this guy. But he's in New Japan right now, and every match he has. Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Every match he has, he brings a bottle of Suntory Yellow Label to the ring with him, and then he, in the middle of the match, he'll take a swig and spit it in his
Awesome. That would be Brad's special move with Canadian Mist.
Yeah, right.
No, I wouldn't subject myself to that, let alone my enemies.
That's so good. That's so good. The misting.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark, I wouldn't be too worried if my mom watched this one. I haven't said anything too scandalous compared to what I usually do. No one's seen my nipples. Let's fix that right quick.
That happened at some point, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, but real quick. Since we are coming to the end of our time on the stream, I want to remind everyone we are now on Thursdays at 8 o'clock, right after the wonderful gentleman at Cask Strength. So be sure to tune in. I'm trying to remember. Honestly, this week has been weird. We may not have a video tomorrow, and I'm super sorry about that because we didn't shoot enough before I had that ridiculous St. Paddy's Day stream, and it's all been kind of downhill from there. So hopefully we have something for tomorrow.
And if you guys aren't already, Ed does have Patreon.
Oh, right.
So if you can, get on there and show him some support in the form of monetary compensation.
And someone really does have to take that Brad Leclerc level, or there won't be a Brad Leclerc on Cask Strength next month. So it's a problem.
That's amongst the best reward levels I've seen across all Patreon.
It's going to be a problem for us, especially with Vito like not turning up most of the time. Like it's going to be Dan trying to go through an hour like talking to the chat. It's going to be super awkward. So someone really needs to step up and get that Brad Leclerc level.
Yeah. Yes, but thank you for reminding me that. And the lowest pledge is $1, which Patreon doesn't like. They want me to up it to $3, but I'm not gonna. You pay bottom level prices for bottom level content. But yeah. And then I did want to ask before we got off the stream, because someone asked me this yesterday, and this was actually something I've been thinking about. Then do you two have any whiskeys now that once the crisis is over, we get into summer, we're less worried about this stuff? What are new releases that you guys are excited about coming out this year?
I really want to try that Ardbeg Black.
Sure. I would definitely like to try that. I'm not super looking forward to it as much as I was before it came out. Now that people have started to talk about it, but I still definitely want to give it a try.
Yeah. Most of our stuff, even if it is a spring release or summer release, we still won't get it until fall.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's the way it goes up here. It really sucks. I'm sure there will be some newer stuff that does come out, but most of the stuff that is like a spring or summer seasonal will still trickle down and it'll get released in the spring because the biggest purchaser on the planet can't get it to us any sooner.
Yeah, I try very hard not to pay attention to when whiskeys are coming out because they're definitely not coming here at that time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have asked.
I don't know when the new Lager 12 and the new the Talisker 15 came out, but for us it was quite recently, and I'm really excited about trying those.
Oh, okay, nice.
Because the Lager 12 is always a knockout,
and I still have to try to get my hands on the Redbreast 27 that just came out. Somewhat recently.
I wonder if we'll see any of that around here. We probably won't. I got a feeling.
Yeah, probably. There doesn't sound like there was a ton of it, so it's gonna be tricky.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Dr. Don is always doing some amazing stuff, Mark. For sure. So. Yeah, and on that level, we can't really, and all of our other avenues that we used to have for getting stuff from other areas has been closed off.
You're right.
So it's. I'm excited to. I've got a few unopened bottles here. I'm looking forward to popping open.
You do? Oh, well, I can still get there. Okay.
Yeah.
This is an option.
If we didn't get into that advent calendar last time, the Vito was all about that there. We would have, and it's all here to be. There's shit. I've got stuff that desperately needs to be opened. And I can't justify it sitting here all by my lonesome.
For sure.
What about yourself, Ed?
Well, I was thinking about that. And there's been a couple things I'm still just waiting for people to come out with. Like, I feel like I'm looking for stuff that is a little bit farther out because I really, really, really need Brook-Laddie to put out their rye in whatever form it comes.
What?
The rye from Brook-Laddie? Yeah.
It's a thing that's happening. Yeah.
What's going on? This is a whiskey channel. I'm interested in whiskey. How did I not know that? I've been out of the loop, man. I've been so busy with so much other stuff in my life that I haven't even had time to read articles or pick up any whiskey mags or even catch other people's streams. Like, I have been overloaded, and now with current situation,
right?
Sure. I'll have some catching up to do. Can you fill me in briefly on whatever like that?
Yeah, no. Also, I think Eric Waits headed out. Thank you for popping by. Glad to see you in the chat.
See you later.
Cheers, Eric.
But yeah,
and Mark is saying he's often at the distillery all day for the next 2 weeks. I mean, my car counts as social isolation, right?
Yeah,
so I could still drive up to the distillery. That's fine, right?
But yes, the Brook-Laddie rye.
There's definitely no viruses in the friggin' distillery. Like, fact.
Seems fine. I think that's a good plan.
But yeah, no, they've been working on that for it's been a year and a half. I think they put it down a year and a half ago, coming up on 2 years, I think now. And so I don't want them to age it any more than they legally have to.
Right.
I think it was them. And
is there any legal requirements for making rye in Scotland?
No, it just has to be a single grain whiskey aged 3 years. That's it.
Okay.
It would be a grain whiskey just like any other
grain whiskey.
Yeah, but
Okay.
to my understanding, they're doing it pot still style. But I mean, still got to be called grain whiskey. So I am super interested in it, and they haven't announced that it's coming out. They haven't announced it yet, and when they do announce it, I feel like it's probably going to be like a UK exclusive or something like that.
Probably.
But I really like. I'm just like staring a hole in the direction of Scotland. Like,
Sure.
where's my goddamn Brookladdy rye?
Understandable. I mean, I don't like gin, and I like the Botanist, the
Yeah.
gin that they put out. So I mean, I would be very interested in a rye from them. For
Yeah.
sure.
So that one is always on my radar. But yeah, no, Red Rose 27. If I could find it, that would be fantastic. I know there's a new the Colonel, the bourbon marriage they're coming out with, the 18-year-old. It sounds interesting. I got a feeling it's just gonna be tater bait though.
Sure.
And like I want to believe that it could be really good, but I don't know. But yeah, I really just want to hear an announcement. I want there to be an announcement by like December that Brookladdy Rye is coming out. We're releasing either new make or we're releasing a 3-year-old rye, and it's coming out, first quarter 2021.
Right.
But we'll see if that happens. So
Awesome.
yeah. Anyway, I think we got to finish this up. We've been going for about an hour. Thank you to Dan and Brad for coming on. Love you guys so much.
Thank you. And now we've got like a 2-hour rock block of whiskey on Thursdays.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And thank you, everybody who watched both of the shows. If you haven't already, hit the like button on your way out and the subscribe button if you haven't done that. Make sure you tune in next week starting at 7 o'clock for the Cask Strength stream, and then 8 o'clock here for the Rotgut stream. So
that's 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock Eastern.
Right. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
And don't forget about the Rotgut Patreon, because Ed needs money for crappy whiskey for Wednesdays.
And actually, yes, and we will have another Patreon exclusive video coming out Monday. I got a fun one for you guys. So yeah,
Nice.
Look forward to that. So
I mean, if you're already getting Ed's nipples for free on the streams, just imagine what you're getting with the Patreon exclusive videos.
Yep, I'm not gonna say anything or give any stuff away, but it's been worth it for me.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, last month I was at the Brad LeClaire level.
He was the Brad LeClaire.
Unfortunately, due to financial obligations, I had to bow out of the Brad LeClaire level this time. So there's a spot open.
And unfortunately for you, you still have to maintain all of the responsibilities that come with.
Until there's a new Brad LeClaire, I still have to maintain the responsibilities. It's kind of a rough deal, but
yeah,
someone's got to do it, I guess.
But yeah, so until next time, everybody, cheers. And I'm doing chicken cock as is tradition. Pull a chicken cock. You guys stay rotten.
Stay rotten.
Cheers.